this is Ken at Capital Advantage Tutoring. My job is, as I say all the time before my videos, is to help you pass the Series 7 exam, the Series 6 exam, the SIE exam, Series 63, 65, or 66, all of those exams. And I'm a little different, right? So I'm a little hyper. I'm definitely offensive sometimes. I curse a little too much. I don't think it's too much, but other people do, my family especially. So I know that I'm a little bit somewhere on the spectrum, but instead of like, oh, I worry about it, I lean into it. That's kind of my shit. So I'm going to make videos that are long. I'm going to make short videos. I'll make ones that are funny, ones that are inappropriate, all that stuff. If you don't like that style, then this place isn't for you. But if you want old, traditional, staid, normal, just reading, just a normal monotone voice, traditional stuff that's super safe, I'm not the place for you. It's not going to work. I don't do scripts. I kind of just talk off the cuff and I mumble sometimes, but I think I'm entertaining enough. There are other YouTube channels to go to. You can go to Cap and STC, the other YouTube creators. You can do all that if you want the safe stuff. Here, I'm trying to do stuff a little bit different. I started this, 4 years ago before COVID ended, just trying to try different things. So this video, now that I just want a normal preamble, this video is all about math problems. I'm literally just doing math for the next however long it takes. I'm not teaching you. Well, I guess I'm teaching you, but I'm just going to create muscle memory. 10 questions on each different thing, just hammering through it, not slowing down. What I tell people is if question pops up, press pause, walk through it. You try to do it yourself and then watch me go through it. And I show you very easy ways to do it. And as we get through, after the 7th or 8th one, you're coming along with me. I'm going fast. So it's a speed test, right? We're going crash course, hardcore, right into it, not wasting time, no extra preamble other than this stupid rant. And we're going to get into it. I will chapter mark it so you can skip past this, go right to the math. I'm doing like ETFs, convertible bonds, accretion, amortization, tax equivalent yield, a lot of other things. All these math problems, not options, because you got to pay for that shit because I'm a greedy bastard. But that's what I'm getting into. So if you really want to get into that and do this, we're going to have some fun. Just do non-stop math problems. Okay, let's get into it. Boom. Okay, people, let's get into this. We're going to work on muscle memory. When we're doing convertible bonds, what are we going to do? Yes, we're going to do it now. The first step is always par divided by the convertible price. Remember, par divided by the convertible price. So we're going to do, that's the first step always. You find the convertible price, converts into whatever you want to call it. And then we do that. And then we compare. Then we multiply that because that's how many shares we get. That's how many shares we get if we convert. Okay, let's do it. Company issues 15 million is 6%. Fuck it. Pause this. Pause it. Read it. Love it. Learn it. Then let's get into it. Okay. Now, the first step is first step. Par, which is 1,000, divided by 60. That gives me 1666. Okay. That gives me 1666 per bond. Okay. For every bond I get 1666 shares. I'm going to multiply that times the common stock of 65. That gives me 1,083. 1,083 is better than 1,050, which is where I could sell it. So I would convert. Also, if you have if it's profitable to convert, you also have what they call profitable arbitrage. Okay, convertible arbitrage is where you buy the bond and short the shares. Because let's talk about why. If I buy the bonds, and then I convert, say it's profitable to convert like this is. I buy the bonds at 105 or 1,050. Then I convert the shares and try to sell them at 1,083. There's always a chance that the stock drops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock it in. I'm going to buy the bonds at 1,050 and exact same time I'm going to short 16 shares or whatever it is at $65 and lock in my gain. Boom, that's one. So let's do it again. 1,000 divided by 60 gives me 1666. Multiply that times the 65, the common stock, that gives me 1,083. That is better than selling it at 1,050. You'll go. If I'm going too fast, put me on 75%. It'll be a lot better. Okay, again, pause this. Read it. Boom. Now we're back. An investor owns 8 million of 7%, 25 preferred, converts into common stock at 40. What's the first step? Yes, we're going to do par, muscle memory, people. 1,000 divided by 40 equals 25. That's 25 shares per bond. I'm going to do 25 times 98. That gives me, we're going to do 25 times 45, not 98. See, I do it. I'm going to do 25 times 45 because the common stock is trading at 45. I'm going to get 25 shares of it. So that's going to work out to be 1125. That again is more than with a bond trading. If a bond trading at 98 and I could convert and get 1125, I'll do this all damn day long. Good. So I'm going to convert and sell the shares if I have to. Company X, maybe Twitter. Pause. Read it. Okay, we're back. First step is first step. You're going to do par divided by the convertible price of 80. That gives you 12 and a half. That means you get the ratio of 12 and a half. You're going to do 12 and a half times the common stock price of 85. That gives you 1,062. 1,062, or the bond is trading at 1,100. I'd rather sell at 1,100. So I'm going to sell the bond, not convert the shares, because I would lose money. Works for me. Now remember something. Sometimes on the test, I'm doing it all this way, so you have to do both steps. But sometimes on the test, they say it turns into 12 and a half shares. That means they did the math for you. Don't do the par divided by. Okay, one more, baby. Let's do another one at least. Here we go. An investor possesses 12 million of bonds. Press pause. Read it. And we're back. So first thing I do, always muscle memory, baby. 1,000 divided by 70, the price, the convertible price. That gives me 14.28. Right? Let me double check. 1,000 divided by 70 is 14.28. That means I get 14.28 bonds, shares per bond. I'm going to multiply that times the 75, which is where the common stock is trading. That gives me 1,071. Well, the bond's trading at 95, so I'd rather convert and get the 1,071 than sell it at 95. Come on, people, we got this. Muscle memory. Okay, here we go. Company Y. Pause. Read it. Okay, we're back. The first step is what? Is always going to be par. Par is 1,000 divided by the convertible price, 90. That gives me 1111, baby. Lucky 1111, the time I was born on September 26th. Now, we're going to multiply that times the common stock, times 95. That gives me 1055. So if I convert, I get 1055. If I sell the bond in the market, I get 100 or 1,000. I'll convert and take the extra 55 bucks every damn time, which means it's also a convertible arbitrage opportunity. Let's go to the next one. Investor holds 30 million. Pause. Read. Okay, we're back. What are we going to do, folks? Yes, you're right. 1,000 divided by the convertible price of 55. That gives me 1818. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply that times the common of 60. That gives me 1,090. Well, 1,090 versus selling the bonds and getting 1,100, I'll sell the bonds, not convert the shares. This is simple, folks, once we get this down. Last one, company Z as in Ziggy. Pause, read. Okay, we're back. Par, first we're going to do, yes, par, divided by the convertible price of 75. That gives me 1,333. Then I'm going to multiply that times 80. That gives me 1,066. Root 66, 1,066. That's better than selling the bonds for 1,050. I will convert every single time. And again, if I'm going too fast, you can watch it again, baby. Okay. Now, again, like a lot of people go, what about dividing from the bond? I can do that. If I get that ratio of, if I do that 1,000 divided by 1,000 divided by 75, I can get 1,333. I can do the bond price divided by 1,333, and then I can still do the math. I just say I want you to do the same thing every time. It doesn't really matter what you do. Okay, last one. An investor owns 10 million of 7% 20-year convertible. Pause. I mean, it's annoying, I know. Read. Okay, we're back. You're going to first step is first step. 1,000 divided by 50. That gives me a 20 shares per bond. What am I going to do? Yup, I'm going to multiply it times the common stock of 55. That gives me 1,100. Well, the market price of the bond is 95, so I'd rather convert and get 1,100 than to sell it for 95. Yeah, I'm in a good one. Let's do one more. Common A, company A, pause, read. Okay, we're back. 1,000. We're going to do par divided by the convertible price, 65. That gives me 1,538. These are weird numbers, but they work. 1,538, that means I get $15, 15 and 38 shares per bond. I'm going to multiply that times the 70. That gives me 1,076, which is better than par. So it's 1,076 versus just trading at par. I will convert every damn time. You know what? We got one more. Let's do it. Okay. An investor purchases 16 million. What are you going to do? Yes, pause and read the fucker. Okay. And we're back. What's the first thing we do? We're going to do 1,000 divided by 60 equals 1666. Here we go again. Times 65. That gives me 1,083. Where's the bond trading? At 105. I'd rather sell it at 1,083 than sell it at 105. It's simple stuff. Now, you notice I ignore all the rest of the shit because how many bonds you're going to do at a time, it doesn't really matter. It's really just comparing the one price to another. Okay, let's do number 6. If the common stock is, pause, read it. If the common stock is trading at 53 and the conversion ratio is 20, what is the parity? Parity, we're just going to do 20. Watch it. We're going to do 20 because that's how many times 53. That gives 1,060. Boom. Boom. Okay. Boom. We get 1,060. That's a parity. That's all you're doing is ratio times the market price of the bond of the stock or the bond price divided by the ratio. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to change it and I'm going to add one thing in here. Most bonds have them, but we're going to put it in here anyway. If an investor holds a convertible bond with a non-dilutive feature and the issuing company announces a stock split, what happens to the conversion ratio? Pause, read. It's going to go up because remember, non-dilutive means that you want to make sure that you're not diluting the shares, okay? You want to make sure that you're not diluting them because if I buy a bond and I know it and convertible and I know it turns into a certain number of shares, okay? Then what happens is I don't want to have them do a stock split or stock dividend and me lose my possible percentage. They will adjust the conversion ratio up to reflect the new stock split. Let's look at number 12. What is the primary benefit of owning a convertible debenture compared to a regular debenture? I'm telling you, this kind of shit's going to show up all the time. Here we go. Why do I do this? Well, I do this. I buy a convertible because you get the income and the capital appreciation. That's the bigger one, okay? If always remember the reason, if you see the word capital appreciation and it's talking about bonds and preferreds, look for the word convertible. Convertible is it. So convertibles have capital appreciation because the bond price actually moves with the stock price. Okay, let's go to a different room. It's actually daytime now. It's not 2 in the morning. You can't see my clock. Okay, let's move on to different types of math. Let's go into accretion and amortization. Okay, should I make it bigger? You guys can read this? I don't know. Let's make them bigger. Yeah, I'm not good at words, so it takes me a while, so we'll deal with it. Okay. I'm like a big picture idiot kind of guy. Okay. Accretion and amortization. Okay, let's get into the first. Remember the deal. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait a lot of time for reading it. You press pause, read it, and then we talk. Remember the way we do it. You should remember it. Me, it's the next day, but for you guys, it was like 30 seconds ago. Have it up, press pause, read the question, and let's do this, baby. Client buys a muni bond for $1,200 that matures in 15 years. So the first thing we're going to do, since we see the amortization. You're going to do the distance from par, which is above. So it's 1,200. So it's 200 above par, right? 200 divided by 15 years. That gives me 1,333. And I'm going to divide that. Client buys a muni bond for $1,200 that matures in 15 years. If the client holds a bond for 5 years, then sells it for $1,100. Is it a gain or loss? I leave the numbers off because this way I can fuck around with numbers. But we're going to do the numbers ourselves. So we have $1,200. You take the distance from par. So 1,200, it's 200 above par. You do 200 divided by 15. 200 divided by 15. That gives you 1,333. That means 1,333 a year, you're going to drop it. So I'm going to do that for 5 years, multiply times 5. That gives me $66. I'm going to subtract 66. I'm going to subtract that from 1,200. That's 1,133. So that tells me that if I sell it at 1,100 and my convertible and my amortization is 1,133, I have a $33 loss. Muscle memory, people, muscle memory. Okay, pause it. Okay, we're back. Purchases a bond at 1,300 with 20 years to maturity. So we're going to do the 300, which is the amount above par, divided by 20. That equals 15. $15 a year. We're going to drop it closer to par. $15 a year, we're dropping it. How many years did we do it? We did it for a grand total of 10 years. So 15 times 10. 15 times 10 is 150. So we're dropping the stock by 150. Again, because we do 300 divided by 20 gives us $15 a year. That times 10 years is $150. So we do 1,300 minus the 150. That gives us 1,150. And the bond is 101. So I am going to lose money again. I'll lose $140, whatever it is. Okay. Which is capital loss. Number 3, a bond is purchased at 108 with 10 years to maturity. So we do 80, which is the amount above it, divided by 10. That gives us $8 a year. Okay. Then we sell the bond after 4 years. We're going to do 8 times 4 is 32. I'm going to subtract from 1,080. That gives us 1,048. That's our new cost basis. That's more than what we sold it. So we're going to lose $8. See the pattern here? Hopefully it is. Okay. Try another one. Bought a bond at 920. That means and since we have to accrete it, we're just going to say we're going to accrete it. I should change this. Buys a OID. That because OID, you must accrete. There it is. A little cleaner. That's why you guys are my guinea pigs. I'm working shit out on this. But you're going to learn. So we buy it at 920, which means it's 80 below par. 80 divided by the years to maturity times 5 divided by 5 is $16 a year. Sounds familiar. That means we're going to add $16 for 2 years because that's how long later. Times 2 is 32 plus our original 920 equals 952. That's our new cost basis, adjusted cost basis. We sold it at 99, so we made $38. Boom, capital gain. Corporate bond is purchased at 1090. Means it's $90 above par, divided by 30 years. That's $3 a year. How many years later did we sell it? Well, 20. So 3 times 20 is $60. So we're going to do 1,090 minus 60 gives me 1,030. That's my new cost basis. I sold at 1,010, so I lose $20, a capital loss of $20. The reason I'm doing these are very similar because I want muscle memory. I want this just to be stuck in your damn head. Okay. We bought a bond at 110, which is 1,100. We're going to take the distance from par. That's $100. We're going to divide that by 20. That gives us $5 a year. After 10 years, 10 times 55 is $50. Since it's a premium, we're going to go down. We're going to do 1,100 minus 50. Minus 50, that gives me 1050. So the new cost basis is 1050. I sell the bond at 1080. That's a $30 gain. Let's keep going. Again, remember, pause before you do it. Don't try to keep up with me because I know my questions. Okay. So 1,040, it's $40 above par. 40 divided by 10 equals $4 a year. Since it's a premium, we're going to drop it down for 6 years. 4 times 6 is 24. We're going to do 1,040 minus 24 equals 1,016. So 1,016 is less than 1,020. So we're going to make a profit of $4, a capital gain. Love this shit. Okay, good. Now let's keep going. Okay, we buy a bond at 1,010. That's $10 over par. 10 divided by 15 is 6.66 cents. Okay. Hell, whatever. Now, then we sell it after 10 years. So we're going to do 10 times 10. That gives me $6.66. I'm going to subtract 1010 minus 6.66. That gives me a cost base of 1,003. Well, I sold it at 99, so I lose $40. Okay, because remember, it's always where I cost basis to where I sold it. I hope we're catching a pattern here. Okay. We bought a bond at par and it's maturity of 5 years. Okay, we don't amortize. If the investor sells the bond after 2 years at 102, we're gonna have a $20 capital gain. Because what are you gonna do? You bought it at par, you sell it at 1,020. There's no amortization. Tricky question, Ken. Okay. Buy a bond at 1,060. That's $60 over par. We're gonna divide it by the number of years to maturity. That's 2.4. Okay, $2.4 a year. After 15 years, we sell it at 104. 2.4 times 15 is $36. We're going to do 1,060 minus 36. That gives us 1,024. 1,024 is our cost basis. We sold it at 1,040. We make $16 capital gains. I love it. Hopefully we're getting it. If you're not, put in the comments, but I'm going to ignore you anyway. We buy a bond at 920. That's $80 below par. 80 divided by the number of years to maturity, 20. That's $4 a year. Since it's a discount, we go up. 4 times how many years later? 5 years later. Times 5 is 20. We're going to do 920 plus 20 is 940. Our cost basis is 940. We sold it at 960. We have a profit of $20. Let's make sure I'm right on that. 80 divided by 20 is 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 920 is 940. Always double check. It's fine. 940 is my cost basis. 960 is where I sold it. I have a $20 capital gain. Hope we're loving this. We buy a bond at 1,070. It matures in 10 years. So we're going to do 70. 70 divided by 10 equals $7. 6 years later, we sell it. So we're going to subtract because it's a premium. We're going to do 7 times 6 is 42. Then we're going to do 1,070 minus 42. That's 1,028. That's our cost basis. We sold it at 1,050. 1,050 minus 1,028 is a $22 profit, capital gain. Love this. I hope we're getting it. Okay. Okay, let's get into current yield. We all need to be able to do this. And these are the ones that should be able to help you very quickly. Okay. Okay, this one has a lot of moving parts. Okay. Client's portfolio contains a $10,000 face value, 8% muni bond purchased for $9,000. The bond is currently trading at a 5% premium. 5% is $50. So it's really trading at 1,050, trying to trick you. So all we do is amp, annual over market price, amp, amp, amp. You're going to do 8, which is the coupon, divided by 1,050. You're just going to do that. That's all you're going to do. 80 or 8, doesn't matter, divided by 1,050. That gives you 7.6%. Even if I did 8 divided by 1,050, I would still get 7.6, but more zeros, okay? If I did 80 divided by 105, I get 7.7. You can still find the 7.6 in there. You can't see it, though, but there it is. Okay? So current yield is AMP, annual over market price. Okay. Investor owns a 5% corporate bond that was bought at $10,000 and now trading at $95. I care about the current price, not the later one. I'm putting the 5% discount in there so you can sort of see that, okay? So all we're doing is 50 divided by 950. That's all we're doing. That works out to be 5.2%, 5.26%. Boom, that's current yield. These should not take a long time. Pause, read it. There we go. So a portfolio includes a 7% corporate bond acquired for $20,000. The bond is currently trading at par value. What's the current yield? Remember, a bond at par, all yields are the same. So it's 7%. Remember, a bond at par, all yields are the same. Okay. Crazy current yield. Okay. An investor has a portfolio with a 4% government bond purchased at $15,000. It's trading at a 10% premium. 10% of par is $100. So it's trading at 1,100. I'm just going to do 4 divided by 1,100. That gives me 3.64%. But I'm going to do it the other way. So 40 divided by 40 divided by 1,100 is 3.36, 3.636, and you round up to 3.64. Okay, that's AMP. Then we can keep going, baby. Annual over market price. The splits round. 9% corporate bond bought for $12,000. Now it's trading at 110. You notice I do not care where I bought it, okay? So it's a 10% premium. So we're going to do 9 divided by 1,110. 9 divided by 1,100 is 8.18%. Letter A. Boom. Okay. Question 6. A portfolio includes a 4.5% muni bond purchased for $5,000. Bond currently is trading at 5% discount, which is 5% of 1,000 is 50, trading at 950. So 4.5 or even just 45 divided by 950 is 4.73%. Boom. Love it. An investor's portfolio contains a 6.5% corporate bond acquired at $8,000. It's now trading at 1,010, 1% premium. So we're going to do 6.5 divided by 1,010 is 6.4%. Okay. Here we go. Total return. Remember, total return, formula-wise, is ending value minus beginning value plus or minus cash divided by the original, which in English is what you made plus what income you got divided by the original. Again, what it grew or dropped, add the cash that you got divided by the original. So we're going to go, remember, press pause, try to figure it out, and we're going to have through it. Not writing anything down because this is a speed round. Speed round. Okay. We bought it at 20, went to 22. We made $2. We also got a $1 dividend. Also, you're going to see a lot of jump cuts because I'm just coughing my brains out. Hopefully they stay in long enough to finish this damn video. So we bought it at 20, went to 22. We made $2. We got a $1 dividend, so we got $3. We take $3 and we divide it by the original. Do 3 divided by 20 gives us 15%, and we're on to the next one. That is that easy, baby. Growth plus the income divided by the original. We got to get this. By the end of the 10, we'll have it down. 200 shares. Pause. Read this shit. So we bought stock at 50. We sold it later for 45. Then we got $3. So we made 5 plus 3 is 8. Right? We bought it at... Oh, see, Ken's an idiot. We bought stock at 50. We sold it at 45. We lost 5. Then we gained 3, so we lost 2. So we're going to do negative 2 divided by the original of 50. That gives us a negative 4% total return. Boom, 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 boom. It's coming in and out. Number 3, we bought 50 shares of GHI. Pause this shit. Bought it at 100. Sold it a year later for 105. So we made $5. Plus we got a $4 dividend. That means we made 9. We take the 9 divided by the 100. And we get 9%. Letter A. Boom. Number 4. We bought shares at 40. We sold them for 38. So we lost $2. but we got a cash dividend of 250. So we minus 2 plus 250. She made 50 cents. So we're going to do 50 cents divided by the original of 40. That gives us 1.25%. I almost said 12 and a half. Gives us a positive 1.25. By the way, in case I didn't say, parentheses is the negative. Okay. If you see parentheses around a number, it means it's a negative or a loss. So when we go back up to this one, where are we? Oh, even this, right? We lost 5. We lost 5, but we gained 3. We lost 2. So it's a -4. That's what we did. We bought shares of at $10 a share. We sold them for 9s. We lost bucks. Sounds like the shit I invested. So we lost $1, but we gained 50 cents. So plus, we're going to plus 0.5. That means we lost 50 cents. Divide that by the original of 10. That's a loss of 5%. Boom, on to the next one. Again, well, your earned or lost plus your income divided by the original. Super duper easy. Total return. We bought stock at 60. We sold it for 63. So we made 3. I plug in the 3. Then we also got a dividend of 1.5. That means we made $4.50. You divide that by the original. Boom, 60. 7.5%. 100 shares of Wix. I bought at 25 and sold it for 20. So we made 3. Plus we got a $1 dividend. That's a total of 4 buckaroonies. Divided by the original 25. That's 16%. On to the next one. We got to be getting some muscle memory here. Number 8. We bought shares at 45 and sold it for 44. Again, like my stocks, we lost $1. But then we gained 250 plus 2.5. So we made $1.50 on this. Divide that by the 45. 3.33%. Do you notice I don't care about the shares so much? A lot of people try to make their life harder by doing, oh, I'm going to buy 80 at 45. And even the vendors do that. It's just take the fucking shares. 45, you lost $1. And then you made 250. I mean, that's the easiest way to do this shit. Instead of going, we bought 80. What is 80 times 45 is $400. And then we do this. It's so much fucking harder. Just do it by the shares. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm the king of stupidity. That's why I love the keep it simple, stupid. King, I am the simple stupidest. That's KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. 10 is super stupid. That works. Okay, we bought stock at 35 and sold it for 37. We finally made some money. $2 plus a 1.75 dividend. That's a 375. We do 375 divided by the original 35, and we get 10.71%. On to the next one. Last one, babies. I think I almost caught my lung. I think my lung's on the ground. We bought shares at 55. Sold them for 58. So we made $3 plus a $2 dividend. We got $5. Divided by 55 equals 9.09%. This is not so bad, right? This is not bad stuff. Again, total return. To take your growth, you add or you take the growth of the loss, add the income into it, divide by the original. That is total return, baby. Okay, we're going to do tips, but it's not a heavy target area, so we're only going to do 5 of them because that's all you need. Okay, tips. Treasury inflation protection securities. Just a little bit of the tip. Okay, so now all we care about is what's going to happen, right? So if there's inflation, the tips will adjust the par value, not the coupon. The coupon never changes. Pretty much, you can safely say for all bonds, coupon never changes, other than if it's a floating or variable rate. And they would say that. This is not that. So what happens is the tips, I'll go slower because these are more complicated, but I'm not going to rail you on this. So inflation protected security notes will adjust for inflation on a, look, they really do it on a 6-month basis, but the test is pretty much going to do it on a yearly basis because they're not trying to screw you. Kaplan and STC and all them try to do what happened 4 times in 6 months. They're not doing that. So inflation, you got to read this. Okay. So you have $1,000 tip. It's a 2% coupon, which is great. And inflation during the year 1 is 4%. So we're going to adjust the par value by 4%. We take $1,000 and you have 2 choices. Either you can do times 1.04, which is 1 plus 1.0 plus whatever the rate is, and you get your 1,040, or you do 1,000 times 4% and then add it, right? 1,000 times 4% equals 40 plus 1,000. Either way, you end up at the same spot, 1,040. Then you just multiply the coupon times 2%, 2080. So our annual coupon will be 2080. So A is wrong. B, so A and C, D are both wrong because it's 2080, not 4080 or not 20. So now what did we do? So I did 1,000 times 1.04. That gives me 1,040. So there's my new par value. So B is the answer here. So we adjust the par value. There we go. Now, number dos. Again, $5,000, 3%. Press pause. You want to do it. First year is 2% of inflation. How do we measure inflation? CPI. So $5,000 par value, inflation protected security bond, 3% at issuance. First year is 2%, the inflation. So we're going to go 5,000 times 1.02, or do your 2% and add it. I'm going to do this way because I'm a goddamn lazy bastard. So my new par value is 5,100. Okay. So obviously B is the answer. We're good, but I'm going to go through the rest of it. Now we have 5,100 times 3% is our coupon. It doesn't change. That gives us a payment of 153 every year. And then each payment would be divided by 2 would be 76.50. So that's all we're doing. So the coupon went up to 5,100. Now here's the thing. So in this thing, if this is not in a retirement account, the IRS goes, oh, your thing's worth more. So you owe us money on that and more phantom income. The increase for the inflation, because since the par went up, they're going to say that you owe us taxes on $100. Damn bastards. Let's try a couple more. We're going to do 5 total. So now we have a $2,000 par value, 4% rate at the start. Inflation is 5%. So what are we going to do? We're going to increase the par value by 5%. 2,000 times 1.05 is 2,100. Or you can do 2,000 times 5% and add the 100. So our new par value is 2,100. So we can probably figure out what it is. So B and C don't work. And then we're going to just do times the coupon. Times 4% equals $84. There we go. So the answer is A on this. Okay, good. I think we're rocking and rolling, baby. So Treasury note with inflation protection is issued at 10 grand, 1% rate. Inflation is 3%. So we're going to take the 10 grand, multiply it times, I say 1.03, or you can add the 3% on. It's now worth 10,300. And then I'm just going to multiply that times the coupon of 1%. Boom, 103. So A is not right, B is not right, C is not right, D is right, because if my annual coupon is 103, if I want to divide that by 2 to get the annual each payment, it's going to be 5,150. Okay, last one. Because again, you're not going to get a lot of these, but you could. $3,000 par value, 6% coupon. Inflation is a grand old 1%. That's pretty cheap. Okay, now, we're not going to see that forever. So inflation is 1%. We're going to do $3,000 times 1%. We could add 30, or I can have done my way. 3 grand times 1.01. That's 30. Then we're going to multiply that times our coupon of 6%. And we should get 180. 180 is our annual. And we're going to divide that by 2 to get our each payment is 90. They don't care, but that's what it is. So those are tips. We don't have to go heavy into them. I think you can get the pattern. Look, here it is. Whatever the inflation is, you add that to the par value. You add that to the par value. And then if that's the answer, great, you're done. If not, if they want to know how much you're getting every year, you multiply that new number by the coupon, the original coupon, because it doesn't change, and you get your number. If they want to know what each payment is, then you divide it in half. Got to pay attention on that shit. And here we go. Even more. Hold on. Just make sure we're not there. Okay, even more. Now we're doing tax equivalent and tax-free yield. Okay, so let's start. Press pause, read it, and then we'll try to do it. A tax-exempt mutual fund has a current yield of 3.5%. For a customer in the 24% bracket, the taxable equivalent yield is what percentage? So we're trying to find out. Tax exempt pretty much means like muni bonds, and it doesn't pay taxes. So if you see tax exempt, then you divide by 100 minus the I was going to say sales charge, 100 minus the tax bracket. And if you see taxable, you do that yield times 100 minus the tax bracket to find the tax rate. So if you want to find the taxable, you divide. If you want to find the tax free, you multiply. Or you say, multiply the corporate, divide the muni. Multiply the corporate, divide the muni. So let's do it. So there's tax exempt, which means kind of a muni. My yield is 3.5. I'm going to do 3.5 divided by 100 minus 24. So 100, I don't want to do it in my head. 100 minus 24. 100 minus 24 is 76. So that's divided by 76%, or 0.76. 3.5 divided by 0.76, that equals 4.60. 4.605 rounded up to 4.61. Letter C, baby. Boom. Muscle memory, but we're going to get muscle memory. Tax exempt mutual fund has a current yield of 2.8 for a customer in the 12% bracket. Not making a whole lot of money. Probably shouldn't be buying the munis. But you're going to take 2.8 divided by 100 minus the tax bracket. 100 minus 12 is 88. So I'm going to divide it by 0.88. That gives me 3.18. Boom, B. Can't see it. If I do there, you can see it. Let's go to, oh, look, a taxable mutual fund has a current yield of 5% for someone in the 32% bracket. What's a tax-free equivalent? Do 5 times what's 100 minus 32, 68. 5 times 0.68 gives us 3.4% A. Okay, that's all we're doing. Muscle memory, baby. Tax exempt, muni. It means you're going to divide. If they give you the, remember, multiply the corporate, divide the muni. Multiply the taxable, divide the tax exempt. Since it's tax exempt, 4.5 divided by 100 minus 22, this is 72.72 equals 6.25, and that's letter D. I was worried I didn't see it there for a second. Panicked. Tax exempt again. We're going to do divide. 3 divided by 10% tax bracket. Definitely shouldn't be buying munis. 3 divided by 100 minus the tax bracket of 10 is 90.9 equals 3.33. B, letter B. Boom. These are easy stuff, guys. We got this. You're going to be Mathapalooza aficionados by the end of this. Okay. So this is tax exempt again. So I'm going to do 6 divided by 100 minus 35. So it's 0.65. 6 divided by 0.35. See what I did. 6 divided by 0.65 equals 9.23. Boom. Letter A. That, and remember, what they're looking for is what corporate bond would be the equivalent of getting this tax exempt, because we're going to add the taxes in. Here we go, tax exempt. They usually do tax exempts anyway, and that's why I'm doing them, a lot of them this way. 2.5 divided by, right? Since it's tax exempt, we're going to divide 2.5 divided by 100 minus the tax bracket, so that's 78 divided by 0.78 equals 3.205, rounded up to 3.21. Bang, letter C. Do we have any more taxables? Are there any more tax? There it is, non-qualified. As we do more, I want to make sure. Tax exempt, taxable, there we go. Just making sure that we had some. Let me go back to this. Go to question 8. 3.75. That's tax-free. So I'm going to divide. Divided by what? 100 minus 124 is 76. Divided by 0.76 equals 4.93. D as in David. Okay. Tax exempt. It's a muni. 4.25 divided by 100 minus 32. That's 68. Divided by 0.68 equals 6.25. Letter B. B as in, I don't know. B as in blow it out your ass. Okay, so now tax exempt. 1.8 divided by 100 minus the tax bracket, since it's 12%. Again, shouldn't be doing munis. Divided by 0.88 equals 2.045, rounded up to 2.05. Good, good, good. Okay. Non-qualified, that means it's taxable. Tricky, Ken, being a dicky. Tricky dicky Ken. 5.5, since it's taxable, I'm going to multiply times 100 minus the tax bracket. That's going to be 100 minus 37 is 63%. So I'm going to multiply 5.5 times 0.63. That gives me 3.465. And there it is, letter A. Boom. Number 12. Tax exempt. I'm going to divide. 2 divided by 100 minus the tax bracket. 2 divided by 100 minus 22 is 0.78. Divided by 0.78 equals 2.56. Bang. B. B is in bang. Bang it out, baby. Taxable mutual fund has a current yield of 7%. It's in the 35% bracket. Okay, so what muni bond would be equivalent to? What tax-free equivalent? So we do 7 times 100 minus 35, which is 0.65. 7 times 0.65 equals 4.55. Letter D. That is going to be what the tax-free equivalent is. Tax-exempt mutual fund, 1.5. Since it's tax-free, I'm going to divide 1.5 divided by 100 minus the tax bracket. That's 90% divided by 0.9 equals 1.66. Pretty crappy yields. Again, person, it should not be about munis. 15, the last one. We're going to do a current yield of 6.5. It's taxable, so we're going to multiply 6.5 times 100 minus the tax bracket of 37%. That's 63. 6.5 times 0.63 equals 4.05 rounded up to 4.1. That should help you with tax equivalent taxable yield. It is so easy. I'm doing these math things just so you can practice, get the muscle memory so that you're wishing the entire thing was math. And don't forget, in the membership thing, I'm going to have the same thing with options. I will see you in a second with ETFs, baby. Okay, time for the E of the T of the F. Yeah, baby, E of the T of the F. We're going to get going. Okay, now, eat the fin ETF. Okay, now, remember, when you do the ETFs, you have to reset every day. That's kind of why the leverage are better for day trading or short term, because of that reset. Okay, it increases volatility. So let's get on this a little bit. So what you're going to do is the first day you're going to multiply times whatever the return is and multiply in leverage or not, and then you have a new number. Once you have that new number, okay, then you're going to do the next day, and that's what we do. So it's always reset. So I'm going to be not too lazy. I'm going to write this stuff down, but let's get into it. So pros, like what is pros? PRWAWS. I don't know what the word that is, but press pause right now. Okay, welcome back. A customer owns a leverage ETF that seeks a return of 200%. Now, I do that because on the test I saw that, so I want you to know that 200% means 2x, 2 times. 300% means 3 times. If I do inverse, that means it's 200% or 2 times the opposite way. Okay, let's get into this. Majors index trading at $100 on day one. It's 100 on day one. The price of the ETF, if on day 2, it rises by 5 and then falls by 10 on day 3. So first thing we have to do is we take 100. I have to do it on here now because it's harder to do. That's the only reason. It's harder to keep track. 100 times, well, it went up by 10, went up by 5%. So that means we're going to do 2. So we're going to go up by 10%. What I do is I just multiply times 1.1. 100 times 1.1, because that's adding the 10% in, equals 110. You could easily do 10% of 100 and then add it. You could do 10% of 100 is $10 and add it. Totally cool to do that. Now, the other way down, we can go, okay, it falls by 10%. Now, that means we're moving right. So remember, our new number is 110. That's where we start, starting at 110. And then we drop by 10. No, we drop by 20 because it's double. So what's 20%? You have to do 20%, 110 times 0.2, that equals $22. And then you subtract that from the 110, that equals 88 times. So we're going to go down times 20%, whatever that is, 22, I think. And then you do 110 minus 22 equals 88. Now, the way I do it, I do a little different. I subtract it out. So I would do, if you like this, we're at 110. And I know that I'm dropping 20%, so I would multiply times 0.8. That should work out to be the same thing because I'm subtracting the 20% out. 110 times 0.8 equals 88. It's the same thing, okay? So you could either do it your way, your way. I don't know what your way is. This way, or I can my way. I'm cheaty. I like to do it quicker this way, but I'm going to try to do it both until I get bored, and then I'm going to go back to my way. So the answer should be 88, B as in boy. Next. Hope that worked for you guys. Now we're at 300%. So remember, everything is going to be 3x, okay? Keep that in mind. Everything's going to be 3x. So let's start. We start at $40. That's our first day. Now the index goes up 5%. That means we're going to 3x. That means we're going to go up by, I'll say arrow, by 15%, okay? Up. And then whatever that number is, let's do it. 40. You can just do 40 times 15% and get 6, or you can do 40 like I do. 40 times 1.15 equals 46 anyway. So either way, our new number for the next day is 46. Again, you could add the 15, figure out the 15% of 40. Now, why is it 15? Because we're at 3x, right? 300%, 3x. So it means we're going to move 3 times. So if it goes up 5, we're going to go up 15. Goes up 12, we're going to go up whatever 3 times 12 is, 36, right? So now we're up now 6 points because we went up. I do it 2 different ways, okay? You can either do the 15% times the 40 and add it, or I just do 40 times 1.15. So I just put decimal 1 point and then the decimal in front of the fraction, the decimal to the percentage, and that's what I do. We're now at $46. So now that the market dropped by 5, which is 15%. So you do 46 times 15%. That's 6.9, right? You could do that. Then you're going to subtract 6.9 from 46. 46 minus 6.9. I put 69, must have something on my mind. 46, thank you, Mike. That minus 6.9 is 39.1, okay? That should be our last number, and that should be there. But now what I do, again, since it's 15, I would do 46 times 0.85, and there's my 39.1. It still works out to be the same. I'm okay with either way. Obviously, you do whatever you want. I'm really fucking lazy. Clear that. On to the next. Customers, it's invested in a leverage. Ooh, it's an inverse ETF, so it's -2. So it's negative 200%, which means it's 2x on the wrong way. So now let's do it. So this is the one you really always have to write down because it just screws with you. So let's start with this. We're going to start at 30 bucks. And the index went down by 10%. So we're going to go up by 10. We're going to go up by not 10, by 20%, because it's always 2x. Always remember to do that. Up by 20%. So I'm going to do 30 times 1.2 equals 36. Let's see if I'm right on that one. Let's see if it works. So I'm going to do 30 times 0.2 is 6 plus 30. So it's 36. That's my new number. Because remember, the index went down. So we go up because we're inverse. So our new number, we're starting at 36. We start the next day. That's the key, is that you don't keep doing off 30. You do it. It's a new number, new day, new number. New day. Okay, so now if the market goes up by 5%, we're going to go down by 5 times 2 is 10. So we're going to go down by 10%. So we're going to put down. And again, I just do it this way. The inverse is always harder to track. I'm going to do down by 10% because it's 5 times 2. So I would do 36 times 0.9 gives me 32.4, but let's try it the other way. 36 times 0.1 equals 33.6 minus 36. There's my 32.4, and it's B as in boy. Again, I hope this is working for you guys. If not, well, I don't know what the hell to do. But after 10 more of these, you should feel better. 10, geez, Ken, it's going to take forever. Ooh, I want to mirror it to 100%. I want to mirror it. So this should be pretty easy to do. We start at 60. The market goes up 3%, so I go up 3%. 60 times 1.03. 60 times 1.03 is, it's going to be 61.8, but you could do it the other way too, right? You could do 60 times 0.03, 1.8 plus 60, there's your 61.8. Okay, now we're going to drag that down. That's our new day is 61.8. Now the market goes down by 2%. So I'm going to do 61.8 times 0.98. It's using me 60.56, but let's see if I think it works. Yeah, 61.8 times 0.02 is minus 61.8. There you go. Perfect. Love it. But we're good. Moving on. That was a sloppy one, but we'll deal, right? We're fine. Okay, number 5. Okay. It's an inverse ETF at 300%. So we're going to go opposite times 3. So we start at 80. Now the market goes up by 10%. So we're going to go down by 30. So we're going to go down by 30%. So we do 80 times 30% equals 24. We're going to go down that. Minus 80 is 56. So our new number for the next day is 56. Remember that. Now I would do this one. I would do 80 times 0.7, subtract the 30%. I get 56. It doesn't matter which way you go. If you don't get it, what I'm saying, don't sweat it. It's not a big deal. I'm not thinking with math. I'm just lazy. Now, I'm going to do, now it's going to go, the market's going to go down 10, so we'll go up 30. So I'm going to 56 times 30% equals 16.8. Let me do 56 plus 16.8 is 72.80. Now I would have done the other way. 56 times 1.3 gives me 72.80. It all works out to be the same. Okay, there you go. So you notice that you go up and down by the same amount, you end up lower because it resets. Okay, let's get a couple more in. You do have to get some sleep. Okay. Investor owns a leveraged ETF aiming for 200% of a consumer goods stock index, starting at 50. Okay, here we go. So it's a regular ETF and it's 200%. So we start at 50. Where do we start? We start at 50. We're going to go up 6%, which is really 12%. So 50 times 12% equals 6. We're going to add that, so we're at 56. The way I would do it, I would do 50 times 1.12. That gives me 56. It's the same thing. So I'm now at my new day. I'm now at 56. And the market dropped 4%, so I'm going to drop 8%, right? So I would do 56 times 0.92, which is minus the 8. That gives me 51.52, but let's do it the other way. 56 times 8% is 4.48 minus 56. There's our 51.52. B as in boy. Hope we're getting a little run on this. I hope this is working for us because I'm fucking exhausted. Okay. A leverage has an inverse ETF that goes 100%. That's 1x opposite, right? So we start at 70. It's an inverse 100%. So we're going to go opposite. So if the index falls by 3%, we're going to go up by 3%, right? So we're going to go 70 times 1.03 is 72.1. I got it. So we're at 70. And we could do it the other way. 70 times 0.3. 70 times 3%. 2.1 plus 70 is 72.1. So that's the one number. 72.1 is our new number. Now the index rose by 5%. We're going to go down by 5%. So we're going to do 72.1 times 5% equals that, minus 72.1 is 68.49. Let me try the next one now. 72.1 times 0.95, 68.49. Boom, it's letter C. I was tired. I messed up a couple times on that. But you don't have to see that because that's embarrassing. Now, number 8. Okay, last question. An investor holds a leverage ETF to triple the return on the utility index. We're going to start at 120. It goes down 3 and then up 2. So we're going to go actually down 9 and up 6. But let's do this. I'm giving more because it's the last one because I am dead tired. Now, we start at 120. The market goes down by 3. So it means we're going to go down by 9%, right? And then it's going to go up by 2, which means I'm going to go up by 6%. I like to do this sometimes early because sometimes you forget where you are and you get screwed up. So because it does happen. I did that before and it's like late because I went this and I multiplied and I should have divided and then I did a cross reference and I had a T-chart. Now, 120 down 9%. So down 9%, that's going to be 1080. So if I went down 9%, I'm now at 109.2. Let's do my way. 120 times minus 9 is 0.91. It's 109.2. So we're now at 109.2 after one day. So now we start that. That's our reset, right? So 109.2. Now the market, we're going to go up 6%, right? We're going to go up 6%. So I would do 109.2 times 1.06, which would give me 115.75, but we'll do the other way too. 109.2 times 6% equals 6.552. Add it to the 109.2, and we have 115.75. Boom, letter C. Okay, after these 8 questions, you should have some sort of muscle memory on where we stand. Okay, now we're on to margin. Okay, so here's the thing. So with the margin, we're not really going to worry about doing a lot of them. I'm only going to do 4 or 5 because it's not big on the test, but I'm going to work us through. Okay, so let's start with the first one. And I'm going to see if I can write on the board. And this, because this stuff, you may want to write stuff down. So what do I always use? Mr. Desby. And I think I can just carry that forward. That may work. So maybe I'm able to do this. Okay, so first thing we got to find out is market value. And that's going to be the 5 grand plus the 4 grand. That's going to be 9 grand. I did a lot of questions in the same format just so we can work through all of the steps. Okay. Then we do the debit balance, which is 4 grand, right? That's 4 grand. So we have a market value of 9, a debit balance of 4. So that's going to give us an equity because we do market minus debit of 5,000. It's good. So 9 minus 4 is 5 grand. That's our equity. How much equity do they want us to have? They want us to have reg T, which is 50% of the market value. So that's going to be 4,500. Good. So we have 5,000 in equity, 4,500 in Reg T. That leaves us an extra equity, excess equity, if you want to think SMA, of $500. And buying power is always 2 times SMA, because you can, if you have 500 in cash, you can buy 1,000 in stock. So we're going to say the buying power is $1,000. That's it. That's the answer. Letter C. Okay. So we need a market value, 9 grand on the one, 6 grand on another. That gives us a grand total of 15 grand. And again, I did it with double positions. This is not a combined margin account. This is long. I just want you to know that they look at your entire margin account, not just one position. So 15 grand is my market value. My debit balance is what? What is it? It is 10,000. Uh-oh, that means I might be in trouble, because if my, let's find out, 15 grand minus 10 grand is my equity is only 5 grand. So my equity is less than my debit balance. It means I'm restricted. So let's do the Reg T. That's 7,500, but I already know where this is going, because if I have less equity than I have, than 50%, I'm going to have no SMA unless they say you have it. And that means my buying power is that. 0. So the answer is D. But let's make sure whenever you see that your equity is less than your debit balance, I think you got to do a little math here. Okay, so you got to find out if you're in trouble or not. So equity, you're going to divide the equity by the market value. 5 grand divided by 15,000. It's 33%. So I'm at 33% equity. I'm still okay, but I'm cutting close, because the lowest is 25 on the long side. And by the way, I'm only doing long margin because I'm a lazy MF. Okay. Boom, there we go. Next question. Just gonna keep using Mr. Desby so we get muscle memory, baby. Muscle memory. Not muscle memory, muscle memory. Let's go. So my market value is 5, and my other market value is 7. 5 and 7, that's 12 grand, right? Okay. 12 grand. My debit balance is what? Is it's 3? Okay, I think we're probably okay here. 12 grand minus 3 grand is 9 grand. That's my equity. Now, equity, to get SMA, you have to do equity minus Reg T. Reg T is always 50% of the current market value. So that's 6 grand. So 9 grand minus 6 grand is equity of SMA of 3 grand. And that means my buying power is, it's not, you're not going to see it, but $6,000. That's letter C. See how this is easy? This margin should not be your downfall. Sorry for a little delay. You probably didn't notice it, but I had to stop because somebody came in the house and I didn't need Teddy barking his stupid head off. Okay. So let's do market value again. Market value of 10. Market value of 5, so we have a total market value of 15 grand. Now, if they're both long, you can do this. If they're long and short, you have to do them separately, but I'm not doing that because I said I'm lazy. Now, my debit balance is what? 5 grand. And again, I don't like spending a lot of time on this because margin is hardly tested. So 15 grand in market value, debit balance of 5, that gives me an equity of 10 grand. We should have this down by Pat. You should be ahead of me by now. My equity is 10 grand, while my Reg T is half of 15 grand, 7,500. So that means 10 grand minus 7,500 is 2,500 in SMA. And that means I have 5 grand in buying power. Letter A. Letter A, Reg A, boom. Easy stuff, I think. Okay, good. Just you keep doing these over and over. Get the muscle memory. Last one. Last one. Actually, I'm doing 2 more. We'll see how many more we do. I don't want to do too many because I don't want to waste a lot of time. There we go. So we have a market value of 12 grand and 6 grand. So that's a total of 18,000. Market value of 18 grand. My debit is 7,000. So I'm going to subtract 18 minus 7. That should give me 11,000 of equity. Half the market value is 9 grand. That's my Reg T. My equity minus Reg T is 2,000. That's my SMA. Remember, what is SMA? It's what I can withdraw from the account. It's like cash. But if I withdraw it, it's like borrowing it because I call them equity loan. And then my buying power is 4 grand. Because if I have 2 grand in cash, which is like SMA, I can buy 4,000 in stock. Boom, boom, boom. Muscle memory. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room. Here we go. We can margin all night and make you feel right. Okay, here we go. 250 shares at 12.5 and 2,500. So that's a grand total of 15 grand. Then we have a debit balance of 3 grand. Ooh, we're doing well. Not like my accounts. 15 minus 3 is 12 grand. That's my equity. That's how much money is in my, basically how much ownership I have. My Reg T is 7,500. And I have to do the math on this. I'm not going to do this in my head. 12 grand minus 7,500 is 4,500. So my SMA is 4,500. Remember, it could ask for SMA or buying power, but I'm doing buying power. 9 grand. That's my buying power of 9 grand off of an SMA of 4,500. So I'm going to stop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the next question up, and you guys can leave in the comments what you can. Okay, actually, you guys do 7 and 8. I want that. Take a pause, take a look at it, do 7 and 8, and maybe if you come on my live or whenever at some point, I'll put the answers in there. But you all should be able to do this very easily now. Do 7 and 8 on your own. I love it. We're moving on to something fun now. Okay, I think that's all the math. That's a lot of math. I mean, that must be like 40, 50 questions you did on math. I'm going to do the same thing for options behind the member paywall because I'm a greedy effing bastard. I want you to pay for that. Listen, guys, I hope the math helps. If you have any questions, please throw them in the comments. If you have another math problem that you think you want to work on, then please feel free to put a comment, say, hey, Ken, you jerk, you forgot this. I really hate these. I tried to cover a broad swath of stuff. I don't even know how long this video is. I'll figure it out and I'll put it in the front. And I hope this helps. Just watch it over and over again to get some of it's muscle memory, because the more you do, Hawaii, I'm in the beach. The more you do, the better it gets. And if you do it right, you can hang out here. Okay. Y'all have a good night. Don't forget to check me out every Tuesday and Thursday night on YouTube, live on the tube of you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this shit if you can.